Life rarely unfolds the way we imagine it will. From a young age, many of us are taught to believe in a kind of invisible script. Work hard, be good, make the right choices, and everything will fall into place. Yet, as time passes, reality begins to challenge that comforting narrative. Plans fail, opportunities slip away, unexpected hardships appear, and sometimes the outcomes we receive feel disconnected from the effort we put in. This is one of the most difficult truths to accept. Life is uncertain, and it does not always operate according to fairness or predictability. There are moments when everything seems to align perfectly, when success feels deserved and happiness comes easily. But there are also moments when things fall apart without warning, leaving us confused and questioning why. Two people can follow similar paths, make similar efforts, and yet arrive at entirely different destinations. One may achieve recognition and stability, while the other struggles despite equal determination. This unpredictability can feel deeply unsettling because it challenges our sense of control. It forces us to confront the idea that no matter how carefully we plan, we cannot dictate every outcome. The honest response to this reality is not denial, nor is it blind optimism. It is acceptance. Acceptance does not mean giving up or becoming passive. It means recognizing the limits of control while still taking responsibility for what lies within our reach. When we stop expecting life to be perfectly fair, we free ourselves from constant disappointment. We begin to understand that uncertainty is not an obstacle to life. It is an essential part of it. What truly defines a person is not the events that happen to them, but how they respond to those events. This is where meaning begins to take shape. When faced with difficulty, there are always choices to be made. One can react with bitterness, anger, or helplessness, or one can respond with resilience, reflection, and growth. These responses are not always easy, and they are not always immediate. Pain, frustration, and confusion are natural reactions to hardship. But over time, the way we process and respond to these emotions becomes the foundation of our character. Resilience is often misunderstood as the absence of struggle, when in reality it is built through struggle. It is the ability to endure, to adapt, and to continue moving forward, even when circumstances are unfavorable. Every challenge carries within it an opportunity to develop strength, patience, and understanding. This does not mean that suffering is desirable or that hardship should be romanticized. Rather, it means that even in difficult situations, there is potential for growth if we choose to engage with them in a constructive way. Consider how setbacks shape perspective. Failure, for instance, can be one of the most powerful teachers. It forces us to confront our limitations, reassess our approach, and often discover strengths we did not know we possessed. Success, while rewarding, does not always provide the same depth of insight. It is in moments of difficulty that we are pushed to think more critically, to adapt more creatively, and to develop a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. At the same time, responding meaningfully to life's uncertainty requires honesty with oneself. It requires acknowledging pain instead of suppressing it, recognizing mistakes instead of denying them, and accepting responsibility instead of shifting blame. It is easy to attribute our struggles entirely to external circumstances, and sometimes those circumstances are genuinely unfair. But if we focus only on what is outside our control, we lose sight of the power we do have. Taking ownership of our responses allows us to reclaim that power. Inner strength does not come from avoiding hardship. It comes from facing it directly. It is built through small, consistent choices, the decision to keep trying after failure, to remain kind in the face of negativity, to learn rather than give up. Over time, these choices accumulate and shape the direction of our lives. They influence how we see ourselves and how we interact with others. Another important aspect of responding to life's uncertainty is perspective. The way we interpret events often has a greater impact than the events themselves. Two people can experience the same situation and come away with entirely different conclusions. One may see only loss and injustice, while the other may find lessons and opportunities for growth. This difference in perspective does not change the facts of the situation, but it changes how those facts are integrated into one's life. Developing a constructive perspective is not about ignoring reality or pretending that everything is positive. It is about choosing to look for meaning even when circumstances are difficult. It is about asking, what can I learn from this, instead of, why is this happening to me? This shift in thinking can be subtle, but its impact is profound. It transforms challenges from obstacles into opportunities for development. Life's unpredictability also highlights the importance of adaptability. Plans may need to change, goals may need to be redefined, and expectations may need to be adjusted. Holding too tightly to a specific outcome can lead to frustration when things do not go as planned. Flexibility, on the other hand, allows us to navigate uncertainty with greater ease. It enables us to respond to change rather than resist it. At the same time, meaning is not something that is handed to us. It is something we create through our actions and choices. It is found in the way we treat others, in the effort we put into our work, and in the values we choose to uphold. Even in situations where we have little control, we still have control over how we act. This is where true freedom lies, not in controlling every aspect of life, but in choosing how we engage with it. There is also a quiet strength in perseverance, continuing to move forward, even when progress is slow or uncertain, requires patience and determination. It requires faith in the process, even when the outcome is unclear. This kind of perseverance is not about blind persistence. It is about thoughtful, intentional effort. It is about recognizing when to push forward and when to pause, when to hold on, and when to let go. Human connection plays a significant role in how we respond to life's challenges. Sharing experiences, seeking support, and offering kindness can make uncertainty more manageable. While each person's journey is unique, no one is truly alone in facing life's unpredictability. Empathy and understanding create a sense of shared humanity, reminding us that others too are navigating their own uncertainties. It is also important to recognize that growth is not always linear. There will be times when progress feels slow or even non-existent. There will be moments of doubt, setbacks, and temporary failures. These moments do not erase the progress that has been made. They are part of the process. Growth often occurs in ways that are not immediately visible, gradually shaping our thoughts, attitudes, and behaviors. In the end, the uncertainty of life is not something that can be eliminated. It is an inherent part of existence. But within that uncertainty lies the possibility for meaning, growth, and transformation. By focusing on how we respond, by choosing resilience over despair, accountability over blame, and growth over stagnation, we shape not only our own lives, but also the impact we have on others. The most honest way to approach life is not to expect it to be perfect or predictable, but to engage with it fully, with awareness and intention. It is to accept that challenges will come, that outcomes may not always align with expectations, and that control is limited. At the same time, it is to recognize the immense power we hold in our responses. Every choice we make, every reaction we have, contributes to the story of our lives. While we may not be able to control every chapter, we do have a say in how those chapters are written. Meaning is not found in a flawless journey. It is found in the courage to continue, the willingness to learn, and the strength to grow through whatever comes our way. From the earliest moments of human awareness, people have looked beyond themselves and asked questions that have no simple answers. Why are we here? What is the purpose of life? What happens after death? Why does suffering exist? And is there any ultimate justice in the world? These questions are not limited to any one culture, era, or society. They are shared across humanity. The idea of God, in many ways, emerges from this deep and persistent search for meaning. It is an attempt to understand existence, to bring order to uncertainty, and to connect with something that transcends the limits of human experience. Throughout history, belief in God has taken many forms. Different cultures have described God in different ways, using different names, symbols, and traditions. Yet beneath these differences lies a common thread: the desire to make sense of life. For many, God represents the origin of everything, the force that created the universe and set life into motion. This belief provides a framework through which people interpret their experiences. It offers a sense of direction, suggesting that life is not random but part of a larger design. At the same time, the concept of God is closely tied to morality. Human beings naturally grapple with questions of right and wrong, justice and injustice. In a world where fairness is not always visible, belief in God can serve as a source of moral grounding. It introduces the idea that actions have consequences beyond what can be seen in the present moment. For many, this belief reinforces the importance of integrity, compassion, and responsibility. It suggests that even when injustice appears to prevail, there is a higher form of justice that ultimately balances things. However, an honest discussion about God cannot ignore the presence of doubt. Doubt is not a weakness, it is a natural part of thinking deeply about complex questions. In fact, doubt often arises from a sincere desire to understand. When people encounter suffering, loss, or injustice, they may begin to question how these experiences fit into the idea of a just and caring God. Why do good people suffer? Why do tragedies occur without clear reason? These are not easy questions, and they do not have simple answers. For some, these doubts lead to a reevaluation of their beliefs. They may struggle to reconcile their experiences with the idea of a higher power, and this struggle can be both challenging and transformative. It can lead to a deeper, more nuanced understanding of faith, or it can result in a shift away from traditional beliefs. Either way, the process of questioning is an important part of intellectual and emotional growth. It reflects a willingness to engage with reality honestly, rather than accepting ideas without reflection. For others, faith remains a source of comfort and strength, even in the face of uncertainty. Belief in God can provide a sense of stability when life feels unpredictable. It can offer reassurance that there is meaning beyond immediate circumstances, that struggles are not without purpose, and that there is hope even in difficult times. This sense of hope is powerful. It can motivate people to persevere, to act with kindness, and to maintain a sense of purpose, even when faced with adversity. Faith also creates a sense of connection. It connects individuals to a larger community of believers, to shared traditions and values, and to a sense of something greater than themselves. This connection can be deeply meaningful. It reminds people that they are not alone in their experiences, that others share similar questions, hopes, and struggles. It fosters a sense of belonging, which is an essential part of human well-being. At the same time, it is important to recognize that not everyone finds meaning through belief in God. Some people approach these questions from a different perspective. They may seek purpose and understanding through philosophy, science, relationships, or personal experience. They may find meaning in the pursuit of knowledge, in acts of kindness, or in the connections they build with others. For them, the absence of belief in God does not imply a lack of purpose. Rather, it reflects a different way of engaging with life's fundamental questions. What is interesting is that, regardless of belief, the underlying needs remain similar. People want to feel that their lives matter. They want to understand their place in the world. They want to believe that their actions have significance and that their experiences are part of something meaningful. Whether these needs are addressed through faith in God or through other means, they are central to the human experience. The idea of God, then, can be seen as a reflection of these deeper needs. It represents humanity's attempt to answer questions that may not have definitive answers. It provides a way to articulate hopes, fears, and aspirations. It gives shape to abstract concepts like purpose, justice, and hope, making them more tangible and accessible. Hope, in particular, plays a crucial role in this discussion. Life is filled with uncertainty, and there are times when circumstances can feel overwhelming. In such moments, hope becomes essential. For many, belief in God is a source of that hope. It offers the idea that there is more to life than what is immediately visible, that difficulties are not the end of the story, and that there is a possibility of redemption, growth, or renewal. Even for those who do not believe in God, the concept itself can still hold symbolic value. It can represent the human capacity to imagine something greater, to strive for ideals that go beyond immediate reality. It can serve as a reminder of the importance of purpose, of the need to seek meaning in life's experiences. An honest exploration of this topic also requires acknowledging that belief in God can be influenced by many factors, including culture, upbringing, personal experiences, and social environment. People are often introduced to the idea of God at a young age, and this early exposure can shape their understanding in profound ways. As they grow older, their beliefs may evolve, influenced by new experiences, education, and reflection. It is also important to approach this subject with respect for different perspectives. Belief and disbelief are deeply personal, and they are often tied to an individual's identity and experiences. Meaningful conversations about God require openness, empathy, and a willingness to listen. They are not about proving one perspective right or wrong, but about understanding the diverse ways in which people seek meaning and purpose. In many ways, the search for God is inseparable from the search for self. As people explore questions about existence and purpose, they also explore their own values, beliefs, and priorities. This process can lead to greater self-awareness and a deeper understanding of what truly matters. It can inspire individuals to live more intentionally, to align their actions with their values, and to seek fulfillment in meaningful ways. The idea of God also raises questions about responsibility. If there is a higher power, what does that mean for how we live our lives? Does it imply a moral obligation, a set of principles to follow, or a purpose to fulfill? And if there is no higher power, what responsibility do we have to create meaning and act ethically? These questions highlight the importance of personal accountability, regardless of one's beliefs. Ultimately, the concept of God reflects a fundamental aspect of being human, the desire to understand, to connect, and to find meaning. It is a response to the mysteries of existence, an expression of hope, and a way of grappling with the complexities of life. Whether one embraces this concept fully, questions it, or interprets it in a different way, it remains a powerful and enduring part of human thought. The most honest approach is not to claim certainty where there is none, but to engage with these questions thoughtfully and sincerely. It is to recognize that belief and doubt can coexist, that understanding may be incomplete, and that the search for meaning is ongoing. In this way, the idea of God becomes not just a fixed answer, but a living conversation, one that continues to evolve as individuals and societies grow and change. In the end, what matters most is not simply whether one believes in God, but how one responds to the deeper questions that the concept represents. Do we seek purpose in our lives? Do we strive to act with integrity and compassion? Do we hold on to hope even in difficult times? These are the questions that shape our lives, and they are the questions that give the idea of God its enduring significance.